I'm doing a coolant flush on my W140 today. These are the materials I printed out of the manual. Here's the EPC, and it shows the plastic drain plug that gets connected underneath the radiator. That's the part number there, and the part number there. It's what I ordered. There's two rubber seals, like O-rings on it. Plus it's made out of plastic, so I don't know what kind of shape mine's in. I just got that in case I need it. And as far as the instructions, it's pretty simple. Remove the cap from the coolant reservoir, and then you drain the coolant at the radiator, or you can do it at the crankcase. And they got illustrations showing that. This right here, that green part, that's this plug, and there's a little petcock that comes off the side, and it would run out of there. I guess if you want to control the fluid, you could hook up a 12mm ID rubber hose and have the coolant drip through there. On the block itself, the hose is a 14mm ID, and there's one on each side. And I would think if you didn't have a hose on there, it would just drip all over everything. That'd be a mess. And given the choice between the two, this seems more reasonable to me. Although if I find rust or bad stuff, then I might go back up to there and get it out of there directly. But for now, that's my plan. I'm using a clear drain pan so I can look at the fluid and see if there's any debris in it. I've got this hose which will go over the fitting underneath the radiator. Instead of splashing down, I should be able to direct it into the pan. And depending on what the first drain looks like, if I see any rust or anything bad, I'm going to be using this flush cleaner. If not, I won't. Rubber gloves, and this is 8mm to take the splash pan off. I think there's 10 bolts holding that on. And then this is the coolant. I'm using Zerex G05, and that's the recommended brand. This is concentrated, so if I split this 50-50, I can get 2 gallons out of there. But I'm not draining the block, so I'm just getting maybe 7 quarts out of the radiator and the coolant tank. And it has a capacity of 16.4 quarts. So there's going to be a little bit left in. So I'm going to put more straight than not. And I've got 11 gallons of distilled water if I need it. I'm going to be removing this plastic splash shield. It's 8mm. I got the splash shield off, and I can get to this valve, this red knob you turn, and then it comes out of that petcock right there. Well, I'll just let it drain. I should be able to get 7 quarts out of here. Still about a quarter left in the tank. Well, the fluid's really clean. I mean, there's not a speck of rust in there. It looks like that GM color. The G05 is kind of like a honey color. Well, you can see the difference in color. This is the G05. It has a slight honey tint, but it almost looks clear. And this just looks like this is way too dark. Okay, I closed off the valve, and I'm adding my first gallon. This is 4 quarts. It should take like maybe 6. It took a little over 5 quarts. It's full. I'm going to leave the cap off and just squeeze the upper hose. You can hear the air. Alright, I'm going to start it now. It took almost 20 minutes to get it up to 80. The heat's on full blast, and it is hot. So I'm going to turn it off, let it cool down, and then this will be my second drain. Okay, I'm going to remove the cap. There's a second drain. It's looking a little lighter than the first. This is the third complete drain. This is from the 4th drain, and there's not much antifreeze in there. Okay, this is the sixth flush, and it's barely reading. You know, I'd say that's like 99% water in there. Okay, this is the seventh and final flush, and it's noticeably clearer than the last one. So I'm pretty sure I got the majority of that stuff out. Okay, I got 10 gallons of distilled water, 7 flushes, and you can see the colors just progressively get lighter with each flush until the seventh one, which was basically just clear. So I'm not sure what was in there. I think it might have been a GM orange, but that ain't right. So now you know, I got it out of there and I can put in the GO5. I'm now going to add the Zerex GO5 antifreeze. This is condensed, so you know, usually mix this 50-50, but there's probably 50% water still in the engine block and in the heater core, so I'm putting mine in straight. This is 4 quarts, so I'm probably going to need about 5.5. Okay, I had the engine running for 10 minutes to cycle this through. The coolant was only at like minus 21, so I drained some out and then I just added some straight GO5 and I got it up to minus 35.